Hi guys, Tugu here with a new video, and this video will be a updated Holy Paladin PvP guide video for 11.0.5, The War Within, and obviously it is the mid-season patch. There are a few updates towards the Paladin class, but also the Holy Paladin class spec, so obviously we're going to talk about that. Just a few words about how Holy Paladin are perceived in the meta. They are going to get nerfed today for US, tomorrow for the EU, and my conception of those nerfs are that nothing really changes towards the playstyle of Holy Paladin. The only thing that is going to probably take a hit are the bigger holy shocks that you could have, but also the bigger eternal flames that are going to get nerfed. So it is what it is. But from my understanding, we were overhealing much over our throughput, so it is not going to matter too much. I do feel like the mana regen nerf is going to be felt in 3v3. I don't think you're going to get in Soul Shuffle. That doesn't happen nearly as often because of the current meta. But that is pretty much how I feel about the spec. Now let's talk about the things that I want to talk about. I'm going to talk really quickly about the stats, the embellishments you should go for, the 4-set, and then we're going to talk about the one build I'm going to play and the few talents I'm swapping, and I'm going to talk about how I do my rotation and the decision making, and that's it. Probably also a bit of macros here and there, but to be fair, I think a lot of the things are learned on the job, and I can make more like in-depth video. I might do that on the second channel, but I still don't know how I want to do the second channel. If I want to do a pure healing channel, or if I wanted to do also a bit more of a specialized theme. I don't know. But right now I'm gonna post this one on the main channel because I already have a following for Holy Paladin, so why not? Now let's talk right away about the stats. Stats wise, we still want to go for mastery, a bit of crit, a bit of haste, and versatility. Why mastery? Because it will improve your healing, and it is just great to have like reliable healing without having to pray for crit. So that's a good thing. I also think like right now throughput is king, so you want to be able to heal good at all times and not only whenever you're critting. And I do feel like crit is a bit overrated right now for Holy Paladin. If you want to play a bit more aggressively though with your Hammer of Wraths, Judgments, like again, how it's called, the talent, it is called Denounce. You can do that, and it will be more effective if you had crit, even about like a lot more verse as well. But in general, I do feel like mastery is the way to go, and if I can go higher, I would do that. I will replace my neck, and I will replace my head piece probably towards mastery. So I'm gonna recraft it very soon. But mastery is really king. What you also want is the embellishment, the retribution beacon on both your pieces. So it's going to be, for example, on my finger, and also got it on the belt. It's just too good to pass up. It is like a straight up increase to your healing, and it is just in general going to feel way better to play with than without. I did notice the difference, and even though it doesn't seem like it on details, like the little thing that is going to give you more healing is going to help you win games more often than you would think. So really appreciate those embellishments. What you also want is precog. Obviously, I'm playing with Stonebound Artistry on my weapon. I don't know how good it is, but I think the other ones are just like not great. So I prefer to have like a mastery proc that doesn't like pop every single time, but whatever it procs, at least I have like a great healing throughput increase. But that's pretty much it for the gear. I'm not gonna like expand too much. It's always the same. I play full mastery. Some people play full crit, but I do feel like the top paladins in the world right now are all playing full mastery, except a few exceptions that are playing crit, and they're like exceptionally good. So that's why they can make it work. So that there is that. Now let's talk about the builds. I have the 4-set. Let's talk about the 4-set. Foresight is really worth it. Just go for it. Holy Shock healing is increased by 10%, and its cooldown is reduced by 10%. And Holy Shock increases the initial healing of your next World of Glory or Eternal Flame by 8%, stacking up to 4 times. It is just a straight up increase into your healing, and there is no reason to not go for it because you obviously have great pieces to go for. It will lower a bit of your mastery, but having a bit of haste, having a bit of crit is not bad. I think all 3 stats are fantastic for Paladin, and that is one of the things that are like really great about Holy Paladin in general, compared to other specs, like for example restoration shamans that are not running mastery, they just don't heal. So it's pretty much like a problem for them, and for us it's like a luxury to be able to choose your stats. Although I think mastery is really like the one running. I would recommend to take the headpiece instead of like crafting like me. But I was planning playing Retribution Paladin, but the issue is with Retribution Paladin, it is annoying that Final Verdict does no damage. That's why like I'm going to change it into mastery, or down the line whenever conquest is uncapped, I might just buy the conquest piece instead. Alright, so let's talk about the build. So the one build that I'm playing right now is Herald of the Sun. No like difference from my ultimate PvP guide I've made. It's pretty much the same, so there is not much to discuss. You're playing around Blessing of Ansh as well. Your downlights that you want to apply at the first second of the game pretty much. So you have a lot of uptime with it, and knowing when to press your averaging ref to get like the most amount of linked downlights. So it's very good to have. The changes on the class tree, we have a lot of changes, which is important to talk about. The whole class tree has changed, but the main things that are like the highlight of the class tree is that lay of hands is not affected by healing reduction effects, so it is a true lay of hands no matter when you're going to press it in the arena, so it's a very good thing. One thing you should note is Fist of Justice now doesn't have like a reduction of CD by using Holy Power. Now it's just a straight up 15 seconds reduced CD. It is unfortunate because sometimes you could have like a sub 30 seconds of Hajj, but now it's like a reliable 30-second Hajj, which is still a good thing. But sometimes you want to press like Eternal Flame just to proc it, and it doesn't do because obviously it has changed. So it's a habit that you have to stop. But that's a good thing, again, to have like a reliable 30 seconds, you get a Hajj kind of feel. You have Repentance, and now you can also make it repeatable. Now, I'm not playing every single time like Light's Countenance because, again, I don't have like every single time the need of actually be able to like chain cast Repentances because you have a lot of time to be able to do so, or you don't have any time to do any Repentance at all. So I feel like that point is very situational depending on who you're facing. Let's see if you're facing like a all melees lobby where you feel like you're not getting kicked anyways, you're not going to get trained. That's one of the best talents. But if you are playing versus like casters, or if you're playing versus like lobbies where you have a lot of AoE damage that can break Repentance, it is one of the lowest value talents out there, except like for like canceling a heal from a healer, which is cool, or putting the resto druid into bear form for some reason. That's all great, but it's not like a Cyclone where it's unbreakable. If it was unbreakable, it would be OP, but that's why Cyclone is one of the most detested CC in the game right now. One change I did is Divine Toll with Quickened Invocation. The reason is I want to have as many Rising Sunlights, and pressing Divine Toll gives you 2 Holy Shocks cast 2 additional times, and you want to have it as soon as possible. The random instantly cast Holy Shocks every 5 seconds is a cool thing for Divine Toll, but sometimes you don't really need the heal from the Holy Shocks that are unbuffed, by the way. So it's not going to be that great. While having a 45-second CD Rising Sunlight, that is going to be a game changer no matter what. A thing that I'm playing right now is Blessing of Sacrifice with Recompense. I think it's like one of the best talents out there. especially if you're playing with Worthy Sacrifice, because that can proc multiple times, so you will get a lot of recompense procs out of that. But this, I'm not playing that every single time, because sometimes you don't want to sacrifice someone, like, because you're going to get killed as well. So you want to be able to control sometimes, and I feel like Righteous Protection is so good versus DKs, so good versus Shadow Priest, so good versus like rogues or anything that has a poison or disease, that this is really great, and it prevents all diseases, by the way. So Unholy DKs really hates their time versus like Holy Priests. One thing I see that some people take is like a 15-second reduce CD on a 2-minute CD. I feel like that's not that great, so that's why I'm not playing it. I'll just play Recompense, or I don't play any talent from here and I take something else, for example. That's also a possibility. One flex talent is Light Revocation. If you feel like you're never going to need to be able to Divine Shield, even if you have Forbearance, so you're not the target at all, you can remove it and you can put it somewhere else. So you could put it on a shorter bob, for example. So if you're playing threes and you are going to have longer games, that is a good talent to take. You could also play forbearance reduction of the duration. So instead of a 30-second forbearance, it will be a 20-second forbearance. So that is also an option. You could also play a bit more aggressive with Hammer of Wrath, and you could also take like Vengeful Wrath if you want to. But I'm going to say that right now with the Soul Shuffle landscape, it's very hard to play very aggressive without getting punished. So I really like Light's Revocation. Stoicism is really cool, like again, Starving effect reduced, so if you have a kidney shot of 5 seconds, it will become a 4-second kidney shot, so it does help you. I think it's nerfed in PvP by 10%, but it's still going to reduce that kidney shot to be like a 4.5-second duration instead of a 5-second duration, which is still very acceptable, to be fair. Overall, those are the talents I'm like taking like at all times. I don't take Divine Spurs, I don't take the Steed of Liberty, which is one of the worst talents to take, by the way. Just don't do that. You could just like macro Divine Steed with Freedom, it would be better in all times. And that's it, pretty much. Holy Ritual, getting healed every single blessing that you're doing, and at the end of it as well. What else is going to be quite good? Like for example, Divine Steel, if you're using it, you're going to reduce the major movement ability from an ally, which is something great to have. Since you have 2 charges, you could like reduce a charge from your warrior by 6 seconds, which is going to be noticeable over the course of a match. And that's it. On the spec tree, nothing really changes, to be fair. One thing I'm not taking anymore is your Flash of Light heals being increased, because it already heals for nothing, so it doesn't really matter if it heals for even less, because you're not casting it. The thing that I'm casting the most, whenever I am casting, is a Holy Light, and that would be with the Divine Favor buff. So if I'm pressing my Barrier of Faith, I can then use a Holy Light, and boom, you're going to get topped. Now again, the only reason where I am going to do a Holy Light is because I have like a Infusion of Light plus the Barrier of Faith. I can do a bigger Holy Light because of that, and that can be like a game changing in general. But the truth is, Holy Paladin, don't use anything else than Holy Shocks and Eternal Flames with your Barrier of Faith. And you try to like use your utility like Searing Glare to like not have to hard cast too much. Like Flash of Light just feels very bad to press, no matter what. So try to like not press it. What you could do is literally like remove it from your boss and put it somewhere else or whatever. I still like to have Flash of Light on Seabite though, because I'll have like the habit to sometimes do it for like fake casting, so people can kick it. But I now just fake cast with Repentance anyway, so yeah. Anyways, nothing like too special on the spec tree. Try to play around your Light of Martyr. So if you have like, I don't know, I'm gonna show you, right? I'm gonna show you. So if you heal, so I'm gonna try to heal as fast as possible. So you have like the debuff, right? Try to sometimes throw a eternal flame on yourself, so you can like remove that health that is just not effective health anymore. You cannot heal it. You want to remove it ASAP. So try to do a eternal flame on yourself, which is something you want to have because you want to fish those Blessing of Ange, which is only affected and activated from dots or hots, and Eternal Flame leaves a hot, so you try to want to do like a triple Eternal Flame on everyone, so you could like fish those procs from your Herald of the Sun. Overall, this is pretty much what I wanted to discuss about the spec and about the overall talent tree. PvP talents though, there are like 2 talents I'm taking at all times normally. So I have Blessed Hands and Searing Glare. Those 2 are like great. Searing Glare is so clutch. Sometimes they're going to kick it and they can also dispel it. But if you're doing it, it means that it is a party-wide Divine Shield pretty much. Because the enemy cannot hit anything, crit anything, or they don't do damage at all. Which can help you to catch up a lot of your healing or to prevent a lot of the healing that you should have done if it was not going through. I really like that. The double buffs, double Blessing of Freedoms are pretty self-explanatory, but if you're facing, let's say, casters, like a full caster lobby with nothing that you can pop, which can happen, and you don't feel like Blessing of Freedom is doing too much because you have like very stationary casters as well, you could remove it and play Denounce if you want to, although it's really greedy to play versus like casters with Denounce because they could just kick you and then it's over. You could also play Ultimate Sacrifice, which is not always recommended, but it can save your game because of it. You could also say, look, I want to play Cleanse the Weak because I'm playing versus like a Shadow Priest, which can help a lot. You could also play Judgments of the Pure if you're playing versus Balanced Druids, where if you're getting root beamed, you can do a judgment on the Balanced Druid and it can sometimes dispel the root, so it could help you to get out of the roots. If you're having mana problems for some reason, you can play Divine Playa. The thing I have noticed is that right now mana is not making me lose the game. It is pretty much like being out of CDs. That is pretty much what is making me losing games. I'm currently duelist as a Holy Paladin in Soul Shuffle. You can look it up if you want to on Check PvP. And I'm trying to climb ASAP to Elite or Legend in Soul Shuffle. And I do feel like right now Blessed Hands is probably the one I'm taking all the time. And then the third one would be like the Flex. So I'll play with Divine Vision to get like a reduced City of Aura Mastery, which is always going to be quite good in PvP as well. But you could also play with Denounce. I like Denounce, but it's very hard to cast if you do get kicked on it. It kind of sucks. And that's it. You could also play Spreading the Word. Let's say if you're playing like a full physical lobby and you're blessing someone, at least you get like a reduction of physical damage to everyone affected by the aura, so that can help you to win the games just because you are a Holy Paladin. So that is also quite a good PvP talent in very specific situations where everyone is physical damage, like for example Outlaw Rogue with an Assassination Rogue with a Warrior, and then let's say a BM Hunter. I feel like this is one of the best talents in that lobby. So take that with in mind that you have to spend a bob to get the benefit from it, but it's quite good. I like it. So those are the PvP talents. Now healing wise, there is like a rule of thumb. You try to like put your, I think, where are my allies here? You want to put your beacons on your 2 allies at all times. Now, if you're facing a Frost Decay, you want to beacon yourself, for sure. And you're going to ask why, so I'm going to explain to you that a Frost Decay will try to go healer like most of the time. And the first stun that is going to be applied to you, so for example, they're going to blind you, then they're going to do the winter thingy. I don't know, I forget names now. I don't know why. I play Frost Decay, I forget the name. endless winter or whatever it's called, and it's going to stun you after the blind. Then you have to pop your divine protection because they're going for you, so you need to reduce the CD. And what you could do, or you could just do aura mastery with your concentration aura, and it will make them not being able to silence you. So that's a good thing as well, so you don't have to trinket the silence, nor you need to trinket the stun. Because the period where Holy Paladins do die versus Frost Decays are because you're getting silenced after the stun, and you are greedy to trinket it, or you're greedy to divine shield yourself. But you don't need to do neither if you are actually using your aura mastery the correct way, and if they're leaving a gap, you normally should be always able to survive the damage from a Frost Decay. But outside of that, you want to have the beacons on both targets, and if for some reason you are the target, try to do beacon on yourself, because you have a talent which is called Saved by the Light, so it could help you to survive if you're dropping below 50%. You also get like the glistering radiance as well. You get like increased healing on yourself as well because of the beacon of light. So overall, try to always swap your beacons if you feel like this one is never getting targeted, so why bother? Obviously they're going to cleave, so often you're going to have the beacons on your two allies. And what you want to do is just build up your holy powers, obviously. But at the start of the match, I try to always Tears Deliverance, always. And I can sometimes do it at the start of the gate. So if I see 2, 1, and then go, you could start the cast at 2. Like you wait a bit, the 2 to 1. You then cast Tears Deliverance. It will be in time for the Tears Deliverance. And then what I do is, that's the start of the match, try to do a holy light on myself. I don't care about the mana, but it does improve the duration of the Tears Deliverance, which is Boundless Salvation. So it extends Tears Deliverance. So it's a good thing if you want to have a longer Tears, which is also better healing in general. So you could do that as well. And what I do at the start of the match, I try to do Barrier of Faith on one of them, and then I do like Eternal Flame if I have like enough holy powers, and that will give me 2 downlights. And downlights are very important for the healing, but also for the procs of Blessing of Anj, which is something you want to fish because it will heal a lot. And what I do is try to start the match with like Avenging Wrath with Divine Toll if I feel like the damage is going to be direct and it's going to be very lethal. What I try to do is also use my CDs very often and very early, so it will come up back at the 2-minute marker where people start to die or start to not have CDs to survive, and that's where your second Avenging Wrath will be clutch. Try to also be in mind of what the damage is going to come onto your allies. So if you're feeling like, look, it's an assassination rogue, he death marks, I don't think twice, I just Blessing Protection, because imagine if I get blinded, imagine I get stunned, imagine I don't have a trinket. I don't want to be there sitting with like a Blessing of Protection in my hands without giving it to them to actually survive the damage. It kind of sucks. So I just do that. Divine Shield is something I don't press except if I'm really in danger, or if I have to heal my allies and they get like, I get CC'd, so I will just use Divine Shield. Lay on Hands is something I try to do at the as late as possible, because it does now not get affected by healing reduction, so it's a good heal, and it will be a full heal just in general, so it's a very good thing as well. It will also give you their target the armor, so if they are like physical, it will deal less damage to your target, so it's always going to be a great thing to have as well. What else? Try to look for a CC, so if I feel like, look, he's going to be my focus, if I heal him, and let's say the healer is there, I try to do then, like if I steer into a stun. If it's a disc priest, I try to fake it, obviously, because he's going to fade or whatever. And then I'm going to follow up with a repentance. No, unfortunately, I cannot really target him because it's an invalid target. I try to do stun into repentance every single time. Now, there are occasions where it's not possible to repentance because like the allies are very aware, they're going to kick you or they're going to ground you or whatever. you need to be understanding that not every single game you have people that are not aware, so you need to play accordingly. I try to fake cast with repentance because people are kicking it anyways. And if you do get like a proc of precog, you can then play very aggressive to the other healer, and you can actually CC for free. It's a 5-second stun, guys. It is very strong in PvP. Like, if you want to win games, Hajj is one of the best at that. And don't forget to taunt your enemies with your contemplation spell, so you can also spam that as you want to. So to recap everything, try to do divine toll as much as you can, so you get like those procs from holy shocks to be able to heal a lot and very effectively as well. Try to do that. It is going to help you a lot. Try to use your CDs pretty fast. Try to switch between devotion aura or consecration aura depending on who you're facing. Tears Deliverance at the start of the match. Try to reapply Tears Deliverance whenever you can, but don't make you getting kicked because of that. So try to be also a bit sneaky. Use Blessing of Sacrifice to avoid CC or to help your ally to survive damage. Sometimes I use it to avoid CC. If I see like there is a polymorph and it's going to be a very lethal one, I try to Blessing of Sacrifice to actually break it. So that's also going to be quite good as well. What else can I say? That's pretty much it. I think also Greater Judgment is probably the best use of a spell if you get like Infusions of Light, because it's going to reduce the damage that they are going to do onto your allies, so it's always going to be quite good. And try to not waste your freedoms. I think freedoms is like the thing that is going to make your heal, like your DPS, reach the target, so they can do optimal DPS. If you're not freedoming your targets, then you're going to miss out on a lot of damage that they could have done if they had freedom. You could also dispel them if you want to, but you have to help your allies to reach the target and not like try to be very greedy with keeping freedoms for whatever reason. So that's pretty much the rotation guide of the part of the video. Now let's talk about the macros and the specifics about it. One thing I want to discuss is Blessing of Summer. I have a @player macro for it, and it will work for all periods of the blessing. So summer, winter, you have also autumn, and you have fall. Blessing of fall, I guess. No, I don't know if it's called like this, but anyways, Blessing of winter, autumn, and summer. And I always cast it on myself, no matter what, anyways. So I have a @player macro, and I don't need it to cast it on anyone else than myself, because I will benefit on the healing part of it, I'll benefit it on the mana part of it, I'll benefit on the damage part of it, because Blessing of Summer now makes you actually deal a lot of damage. Do I have a game where I can show you the damage I've done with Blessing of Summer? I don't know if I can show you here. For example, this is one of the first games I have from a Soul Shuffle. Blessing of Summer did 8 million damage with just one cast of Blessing of Summer. It's not like I had like a very long match. It was literally done in 1 minute time max. And this gave me a 845k hits on Blessing of Summer, which is like mind-boggling. Imagine you getting hit by that and you die because of it. It's one of the best spells right now for Holy Paladins. So I just try to always use it on myself, because it will always be the case. So I try to make it also a macro to not be able to fat finger on someone else. Blessing of Spring, I mean, it's one of the best spring blessings as well. Should try to play around that as well. What else? Macros, let's see. We have, thank you Tommaso Zancato for subscribing to the channel. Thank you. So I have a focus macro Hammer of Justice, focus macro of Repentance. I have a target macro for Judgment, so it means that if like someone targets, for example, he targets the dummy, I'm gonna target the dummy while I'm still targeting the enhancement shaman. So it helps a lot with smoothing out who you're targeting And you don't need to think too much about who you want to judgment anyways, so I just try to follow the target I'm healing. If he decides to say, look, he's going to stay on this, I'm just going to divide like judgment whenever I can to actually have the reduction of the damage that they're going to do, but also the infusion procs being used because of that. What else? We have a party 1 healing macro, that's more for Retribution Paladin. A focus macro rebuke, always going to be very useful. What else do I have? I have a help harm macro for Holy Light and Crusader Strike, both of which are not used all the time. But if you can Crusader Strike someone, you can just regen a Holy Power for free pretty much. So that's also going to be a good macro to use for you guys. What else can I say? I think also have like a Avenging Wrath macro with Divine Toll and my unused. So my unused target is also on it. And that will make you pump a lot of healing. This is like one of the best macros to use if you want to heal effectively and from the start and being very successful with it as well. I personally always play with a macro on my Avenging Wrath. I know it's a kind of noob macro to have everything into one, but I feel it's very comfortable, and if I see it's a 1 minute mark for Avenging Wrath, I just press it another time to get like just the trinket proc. So it's going to be very interesting to have as well. So use 14 means that it's the 14th emplacement of your gear. So 14th is the last trinket spot pretty much. All right, so those are macros. Tips and tricks, already said it. So it's a fast guide, I guess. 30 minutes, it's not that fast, but hopefully you did learn something. Currently, like, I'm climbing as a Holy Paladin. I have like 2150 MMR, and I am not playing every single time Holy Paladin, but whenever I'm healing, I'm playing Holy Paladin and I'm actually enjoying it. I feel like the meta is really suited for Holy Paladins as well, and they're going to not get nerfed another time. I think that's the last nerf that they're going to give, and they're going to try to buff the other healers to be more on par with Holy Paladins. So again, thank you for watching this video, really appreciate you. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet, and we will catch each other probably very soon next video. Have a great day, bye.